you can just raise your hand, or you can just unmute yourself and feel free to present your query. I know all of you are sleepy, because 1 p.m. is really not a good hour, for conducting a lecture. So, okay, chat box is open. External ear, middle ear, inner ear. Personal questions. Okay, so I think someone already started the ball rolling, no? Okay, so let me just open the... Okay, so one question here is, with regards to instructing the patient not to close their eyes during vertigo episode, do we tell them to look straight and afar? Yes, no, because ideally, when you are trying to treat a patient you believe to have a diagnosis of vertigo, it's best to instruct the patient to keep the eyes open, okay, and focus on a non-mobile object, so it can be, like, for example, the patient is in front of a wall. Okay, so any structure there, it may be a picture frame, a doorknob, or uh, a dirt in the wall, no. So I always tell the patient to keep the eyes open. So why do you keep the eyes open? We all know that the balance center is in the vestibular apparatus, which is located in the ear. So basically, let's say, since the engine for the balance is in the ear, that would comprise a large bulk or percentage of uh, the function already, of balance. Okay, but we also need to consider that the eye and the brain can also help in the mediation of maintaining the balance of the body. Okay, so it's best to keep the eyes open if and when we have episodes of vertigo attacks. Diba? And the eyes are also important in diagnosing vertigo. Diba? So if you see the patient's eyes having nystagmus, okay? So basically, in peripheral type of vertigo, the nystagmus of the eyes would be, it's either rotatory, or lateral, left and right. So the eyes bobbing left and right. So that would aid you in diagnosing the patient to have a BPPV, or a benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, which is peripheral. Okay. So next question here is, good afternoon, Doc. Is it encouraged to frequently clean an ear canal with flaky skin or wax? And also, what if a patient has BPPV symptoms that do not improve after epley and Simont, no? Simont maneuvers. Okay, so first one is, do you encourage frequent cleaning? So if you base it on our Bible, no, the ENT Bible, we do not recommend any form of instrumentation, no, or personal instrumentation with regards to ear cleaning. Yeah. Because we all know that the ear is a self-cleaning, or has a self-cleaning mechanism. Okay. So how would that come about? Okay, like for me, for example, now I'm talking, di ba? Or I may be chewing. So every movement, no, of my jaw will cause vibrations in the ear canal, di ba? So that can actually help or aid the earwax to extrude itself from the ear canal out to the concha. No? So we do not encourage, no? Kahit naman ano yan, no? So this one, you described it as flaky type of earwax or skin. So there's only two types of cerumen, no? So you have your wet type, and then you have your dry type, 'di ba? So genetic 'yan. Okay? So both types have pros and cons, 'di ba? So if it's flaky dry, malamang it's always itchy, 'di ba? So the symptoms there would be itchiness. If it's the wet type naman, so you have a greater chance of having impaction of the cerumen, or buildup or accumulation of the earwax in the ear canal. Okay, so basically, the book also says that the ears, no, since it's a self-cleaning mechanism, or has a self-cleaning mechanism, which happens roughly around 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, so it cleans itself every 6 to 8 weeks. So sometimes in some books it says 12 weeks. No? So how did they discover that? How did they point that out? There was a theory before that they concluded on, no, which entailed what they actually did was they placed a tattoo, no, or an ink dot in the ear canal, okay, and they monitored that ink dot, no, that they made. So every couple of days they had otoscopy done, no, and they noticed that that was moving towards the lateral aspect of the, or outwards, no, to the ear, from the ear canal. So they term that as the migrating dot theory, no. So the skin together with the earwax will be extruding itself on its own. Yan. So general rule yan, no, when you go to the clinics already. Okay, so you do not advise, no, ear cleaning. No? Sa atin kasi, what's the norm? Usually every after bathing, 'di ba? So you can clean the ears but only on the outer side. Okay, so you do not mess with the opening or the vestibule and the ear canal. Okay. So clinic wise, we only recommend ear cleaning every 6 months, okay, or maybe once a year, no? Okay, so the next one is, the next question, what if a patient has BPPV symptoms that do not improve with Epley and your Simon? So, provided you are doing the exercises correctly, di ba? And then your diagnosis is, you're sure, no, that you have a BPPV case, then maybe you should reassess the patient. Okay? Kasi, or if the symptoms are not improving, then maybe you missed out something during your diagnosis. Diba? Because for me, for example, in the clinic, so if I diagnose a patient with BPPV, I always tell them that these maneuvers are exercises, diba? So you did not mention here also, was the patient prescribed with anti vertigo medications also. Okay, So sometimes it's always good to have combination treatment, no? But then again, yun nga, if you're not sure, no, or the patient is not recovering from what you advised, then close follow-up is recommended, diba? So you instruct the patient, o sige, you try these maneuvers for maybe 5 or 7 days. If no improvement, then you have to come back, diba? And if the patient comes back, no, with the same complaints, then you have to reassess your diagnosis. Because most probably, you it might not be BPPV, diba? It might be something else. Okay, it might be central in origin. It might be circulatory in origin. No? So you really have to reassess. These maneuvers, no, what I say to my patients all the time is, ang gamot sa hilo is you need to hilo yourself also. Parang ganon. Diba? So ang gamot sa hilo is hilo rin. So that's how these exercises came about. No? Okay, so hopefully we're able to answer those questions. Any other? Any other questions? Consultation if you want. Anything ENT pag wala na kayong question with the ear. This is a combined section, correct?
Yes po, Doc.
Oo. Wala na? No more? President of, ano to? A? ANB ba to? ANC. ANC pala, sorry. ANC. So let's start with the officers. Okay, so I have one here again. So will hearing aids be indicated in the case of chronic ruptured eardrum? Okay. So, sige, as broad as this, ano, no, as broad as this scenario, you have a chronic ruptured eardrum. So we term that as chronic what? Otitis media, 'di ba? So if there's no active history of infection, then it's an inactive type of chronic otitis. Okay? So would it entail you to have a hearing aid purchased? You first have to uh, have a grading, no, with regards to the hearing loss that the patient is suffering from, di ba? So just like the eye, you need to have your grade checked also. Okay, so with regards to the ear being perforated, so you have to undergo what is termed as your audiometry. Okay, to have an audiogram printed out and interpreted by an ENT or an audiologist. No? So provided it's only the eardrum, no, that is damaged. Okay, so there is no involvement of your nerves. So the diagnosis for that would be a purely conductive type of hearing loss. Okay, kasi you have two types, diba? You have your conductive type of hearing loss. So the damage would be in the ear canal, in the eardrum, in the mechanical aspect, no, of the ear. That would include your ossicles, no, your malleus, incus, and your stapes. Okay, it can be also from your eustachian tubes, no. And then the other one would be your sensory neural. So nerve na siya. Okay, your cranial nerve 8 already is involved. So having undergone an audiometric examination and it turns out to have a lot of or an interpretation of a conductive type of hearing loss, the level of hearing loss would also be very important. Kasi you have mild, di ba? Mild category of conductive hearing loss. You have moderate category. You have severe. You have profound. No? So it depends on the type of perforation. Okay. So the location of the perforation is also important. No? The size of the damage. Okay. So if it's a mild type of conductive hearing loss lang, then we would not recommend, no, for a hearing aid to be placed. Because you also have actually another option. So if it's purely conductive, then it is proven that the eardrum is the one that's defective, you can also opt to have surgery, no, to repair the perforated eardrum. So that can be one solution, no. And the other solution is yun nga, a hearing aid. So if you have a ruptured eardrum, well, technically, water precautions we always recommended also. And if we recommend hearing aids on a patient who decided to choose a appliance, no, rather than undergoing tympanoplasty to repair or replace the damaged eardrum, then frequent follow-ups with an ENT is also recommended. Why? Because if you have your hearing aid attached to the ear all the time, then buildup of earwax is more common and faster. No? So basically, within 2-3 months, maybe you need to have regular ear cleaning, no, by an ENT. Okay. So any other?
Patay.
Wala na? Ano? No more questions? So basically, no? So the take home here will be, if we have a patient who complains of dizziness, no? If it's the spinning type, okay, based on how the patient would describe the symptoms that she or he had, if it's spinning type, then most probably it's vertigo. Okay. And vertigo is treated clinically better, no, that you use your vestibular exercises rather than giving medications. Okay. So take note also that with regards to the treatment, no, conservatively, it's avoidance of your salty food products. No? In order to diagnose your vertigo, the eyes are also very important, no? Because you need to look at the movement of the nystagmus of the patient. So basically, vertigo would be horizontal, no, or lateral in movement, no? When you see your nystagmus. Okay, no more questions? Presidents of the class? Wala. Representative? Okay. So pag wala, so I'll let you guys go. Okay, so thank you for your time. And I'll be seeing you around. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you po, Doc.